Hi guys, we are back again with a major new update for SynthMaster 3, version 3.3 this time. And in this video, I'm going to explain the new features in this update. The first feature I'm going to talk about is the rent-to-own support. You can purchase SynthMaster 3 now at PluginBoutique'e.com with their rent-to-own model. You see, we have a dialog here that is displaying an error message. Please make sure beatport access is running. This is because I'm running the rent-to-own version of SynthMaster 3 right now. And to fix this error, I am going to run beatport access. This is a tool Plugin Boutique basically provides for rent-to-own users. And when I click on retry button, I'm all good and I can use SynthMaster. So with the rent-to-own model, let me bring up the web page. With the rent-to-own model, you can basically purchase SynthMaster 3 by making 12 payments of $8.25, which is basically a steal. And you can stop your payments and you can resume them back later on. So in my opinion, this model is much better than subscription, guys. Just do it. It's a steal basically. And when you are done with your payments, let me go back to the SynthMaster interface again. When you are done with your payments, Plugin Boutique sends you a registration code. And then you click on this menu here and you select register new or existing user. And then you enter your name, your email address, and you also enter the registration code you received from Plugin Boutique. You click on this register button and you receive your perpetual license key from us. So this is really a good model, guys. Just do it and help us grow. The next feature I'm going to talk about is the addition of a new skin. Now, this skin is a very special one because you guys have been asking for it. It's basically our default SynthMaster 2 green or green/gray skin. Now, let's select a new global skin, SM3 default, and I will select 200%. And there you go. It looks just like SynthMaster 2 interface. So this is the color scheme that we used for SynthMaster 2, and many of you guys were asking for this, and there you go, guys. And with the feedback we received so far, we believe you guys like this skin, and I hope it brings more attention to SynthMaster 3. And I also would like to thank my brother Levent for taking the time to create this wonderful skin. I mean, and for me, honestly, this is now my favorite skin, and I will be using this one from now on. Now, next to the third new feature, which is floating editor windows. For this feature, I'm switching to user interface settings, and here we have a new setting, enable pop-up windows for editors. So many of you guys were asking for floating windows support for editors, like the waveform editor, wavetable editor, or the multi-sample editor. And here you are, guys. When I click on this pencil icon to bring up the waveform editor, you see now it is displayed on a separate window. But if I disable this, and if I click on the pencil icon again, this time it's displayed as a model window on the same dialog. So I hope this improves the workflow when you guys are designing sounds. For me, it really did actually. And since I have a single monitor, I cannot move this to another monitor, but if you have more than one monitor, you can just move this on the second monitor, and you can place the main interface on the first monitor, and this would really increase your workflow speed. So this is the third feature that we added. Let's also look at the Wavetable editor, for instance. Let's replace with the Wavetable editor. And yeah, this is the Wavetable editor is also opening as a floating dialog. And same for the sample editor. If I bring up the sample editor, I can just edit my multi-sample on a separate window like this. The fifth feature we added in SynthMaster 3.3 is creating random waveforms in wavetables. To demonstrate this feature, I will first start off with an init preset, and I will replace this one with a wavetable oscillator. And then I will click on the plus icon to create a wavetable from scratch. Now, as you know, we can have wave sources for wavetables, or we can have line sources. I will start off with a wave source, and this wave source initially has 2 keyframes. So for these keyframes, I can basically draw my shapes. I can do freehand drawing, or I can click on this icon here and I can create a random waveform like this. And I can also create, let me create one for this one. And as you see, it creates random shapes for us. Now let's see how this sounds actually. So for this, I'm gonna add an LFO. Let's have a sawtooth LFO. And let's slow down this LFO. Oh, this is too slow. Yeah, this is much better. So basically, it's when I play the note, it's cycling between these 2 waveforms. Let me try loading a random waveform this time for this keyframe. Let me also do the same for this one. Let's move the keyframe down. And to change the random waveform creation parameters, I can turn on grid, for instance. Let's have a grid with 8 equal steps for X and Y. And now let's create this waveform again, so that it will create the waveform with equal line segment lengths. Here we go. I can, of course, introduce intermediate keyframes, and I can also create some random waveforms for them. Let's also create some further random waveforms. And let's cycle through them. So I showed how to create random waveforms with the wave source. Now let's do the same with the line source. I will initialize a line source with a basic sine wave. Now this sine wave has 4 segments. Let's add 2 or 4 more segments here. So we have 8 line segments here for our initial waveform. Now I'm going to select an intermediate keyframe here, and I will click on this create random. Now it created a new keyframe waveform with random curves, and I will do the same for here for this keyframe, and I will do the same for the last keyframe. So I created 3 different waveforms with line segments. Now let's hear how this sounds. One important thing to mention about line sources is that each waveform here has the same number of line segments, so that when we are going through these keyframes, let me actually increase the number of frames here to 64. So when we are interpolating between 2 keyframes, like between this shape and this shape, I'm also interpolating the lengths of the segments. So for instance, let's start like this. Okay. And let's hear how it sounds. Sounds good. And another important feature of line sources is that we have different interpolation types. Right now, the interpolation type is curve. So curve means I have a line segment here with 2 different points and a single segment with a slope. But I can change this. Let's change it to step, for instance. So it does step interpolation now. I'm going to increase the keyframes here because I hear stepping. Let's also change this to linear interpolation, which should sound smoother. Let's also play with quadratic. So with quadratic, we can draw quadratic curves actually. Like this. Okay, let's play with them. And finally, we have cubic. So you have between 2 points, you have 2 different control points like this. And there's also the tie parameter here, which basically ties these line segments. So if I turn off tie, and let's try creating random waveforms again, you see now it's not tying these segments. So let's create random again. Random and random. And let's hear how it sounds. It sounds more aggressive because we have discontinuities between these segments. Let's switch to curve. And of course, at any time I can convert this this line source to a wave source. Convert source, or I can better yet, I can convert it to a file source. So now this is my file source. And when after I convert this to a file source, I can change the blend type from waveform to spectral, for instance. So I can do some spectral interpolation. For instance, if I choose first phase, the phases of all of the keyframes will be the same as the first waveform in my wavetable. Okay, so much for random waveform creation. The next feature I'm going to talk about is triggering samples using your DAW tempo. This BPM, let's make it 120. To demonstrate this new feature, I'm going to initialize a new preset, and I will create a new multi-sample now. I will select some samples from the file selector here. Sample import. I will use these slice imports. Okay, I have some samples at different BPMs. Let's select 80 first. Okay, so all of these samples are at 80 BPM. Now I will rename this group 80 BPM. Now I'm going to create another group here. And call it 100 BPM. And this one was 80 BPM. Now I'm going to drag and drop some further samples here. Slice imports, and this time I'm going to select 100 BPMs. Okay, so these are 80 BPM, these are 100 BPM. And the last group I'm going to create will be 120 BPM. Let's import these samples as well. 120, 120. Okay. Now I'm going to select the first group. I will click on this trigger tab, and under BPM tempo, by default, the tempo of each region is between 0 and 500 BPM. But for this group, I'm going to make it between 40 BPM and 99 BPM. And for this second group, I'm going to make it between 100 and 119. And for this group, I'm going to make it 120 and 240. Now, my BPM here is 120. So when I play a note, as you see, it's playing the 120 group. But if I lower this to 100, it's now playing this group. And if I go further and change the tempo to 80 BPM, this time it's playing the first group because my DAW tempo is 80 BPM and it is selecting this group based on this trigger. So this is how you can basically play samples based on the host tempo, and I believe this is really a nice feature so that you can combine all of these looped files, slice them, and create really rich and complex loops, multi-sample loops actually. And finally, the last new feature I'm going to talk about is better NKS support in SynthMaster 3.3. To show this new feature, I will first click on this menu here, and I will select this new menu item, download NKS content and previews for preset banks. Now SynthMaster 3 is going to look at my NKS installation, and if anything is missing, it's going to install and download and install them first. As you see, it's updating my SynthMaster 3 factory presets. And next, it's updating SynthMaster 2 factory presets. It's downloading now. And finally, it's also updating SynthMaster 1 factory presets. So all of these factory presets will now show under SynthMaster 3 when I open up Complete Control. Once it's installed, I will show you guys what I mean. So it's unpacking the zip files now. This is going to take a while. Just don't close the window at this point. Just wait. I'm sorry, this is taking a while, guys. Okay, all of them are installed now. So we should have previews available. Let's close and reopen this dialog. Okay, now we have previews available for all factory presets. When I select factory presets, now I see play icon for all of them. Now I'm going to close Reaper and open fire up Complete Control. Now under all instruments, I see SynthMaster 3. And when I click on SynthMaster 3, I see these presets. For instance, this one is a factory preset for SynthMaster 2. I'm double clicking to load this preset. Let's switch to a smaller skin. Okay, this is much better. And I'm going to refresh the library for SynthMaster 3. And as you see now, it has more presets, and these ones are SynthMaster 1 presets. Great, we have an issue. Let's open up complete control again. Okay, here we go. So we open this preset, and as I said, this is a SynthMaster 1 preset originally, but now it's showing under SynthMaster 3. And if I load this one, for instance, this is a SynthMaster 2 factory preset, but it is showing under SynthMaster 3. So basically, we now have all the factory presets for SynthMaster 1 and SynthMaster 2 available under SynthMaster 3 when you are using SynthMaster 3 with complete control. This was the 7th and the last new feature we added in SynthMaster 3.3. I hope you liked my explanations, and we would really appreciate if you support us, guys. Thank you for listening to me, and have a great day.